Hello, everybody. Looks like the gauge says it's empty. Let's take a walk into the kitchen and see what's in the fridge today, guys. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. We got us a Clown Shoes beer. Uh, this is Clown Shoes Rexx, and what this is an American Strong Ale is what Rate Beer calls it, and Beer Advocate calls it an American Amber / Red Ale. This is a big beer. This is a 12%er that's aged in bourbon barrels, and they call it an Imperial Red Ale here on the label. Really nice graphics with the dinosaur and stuff on there. Really colorful label. Just the label is enough to cause me to pick it up. Of course, I'm a big Clown Shoes fan anyway. A lot of you guys like to hear me say Clown Shoes. Uh, the last Clown Shoes beer we did couldn't find a date on it, and they're dating their stuff, and I don't know why there was no date on it, whether that bottle got past the dating machine or whatever. This bottle just come out of the fridge and it's sweating profusely, so we'll take a closer look and make sure that we can see if we can find a date on this one at the end of the beer review. But Clown Shoes is a big enough brewery where they shouldn't be using an ink, especially a black ink, on a dark brown bottle. They're big enough where they could date the labels. That's just my opinion, guys. These guys could print the date on the labels. Uh, it makes no sense to me once you get to the size of this brewery is, and being in Massachusetts, and they're distributing all the way here down in Virginia, that you would not be printing the date on the label somewhere. So, or printing the date in a bright white or bright yellow writing if you have to actually print it on the bottle in some kind of black, which you cannot see with the beer still in the bottle. Makes no sense to me. Makes absolutely no sense to me. But anyway, they have been dating their stuff. The last bottle I did not have a date on it. Even though some people tell me, oh, they should have a date, look here, look there. I know where to look for the date on the freaking bottles, guys. I've been doing this a long time. It should not be rocket science, or you should not have to have a magnifying glass or anything like that to find a date on the bottle. It should be on the freaking label, as far as I'm concerned, where you're looking at the label, it's right there. You shouldn't have to hold it up to the light or try to decipher where the damn code is. I like Clown Shoes, but they are big enough to print this shit on the damn label. Alright, let's get on with this one. 12%er, big beer, a sipper, not a chugger. I'm hoping this is going to be a real pleasant beer. I don't drink a lot of the Imperial Red Ales, but I do like them. I'm a hophead, and I like the darker beers, but I do enjoy a nice red ale, especially when it's been aged in bourbon barrels. I'm a big fan of bourbon barrel aged beers. Commercial description on this one. I don't have the IBUs listed here, guys. Says, we like dinosaurs. We especially like Rexx, our prehistoric pal who wears clown shoes, drinks bourbon, and spends his doomed days in exile from the other Tyrannosauruses. Choosing to romp with friendlier beasts, Rexx, we decided this Imperial Red Ale, aged in Heaven Hill and Four Roses bourbon barrels, to you, buddy. So I'm a big fan of bourbon barrel aged beer, so I'm hoping this is going to be a real tasty treat. And this is a big bottle. It's a 22 ouncer. It's a bomber. It's definitely enough to share, which is what I intend to do. Over to the food pairings for this beer, guys. The Imperial Red Ale. Cheeses, it doesn't have a cuisine. Cheeses are sharp blue cheddar, and the meat is beef, poultry, and fish. These style of beers, your bigger beers, your Imperial beers, especially bourbon barrels, go with your stronger dishes, usually. If you like having this with your cereal, by golly, have at it. Or ice cream, whatever floats your boat, blows your hair back or your socks off, do it. But these are just suggestions when I read these food pairings, guys. Whatever you'd like to eat and drink together, that's what you should do. Glassware, pint, becker, non tumbler, mug, stein, and sidel. Typically on these bigger beers, it lists a snifter or oversized wine glass. Not on this one. I'm going to use my favorite glass. I don't care what they say. Use your favorite glass. If you like drinking out of a pint glass, do it. If you like a tulip or a double glass or a Sovereign beer glass, whatever makes you happy, that's what you should drink it out of. Just don't drink it out of the bottle. Release the carbonation. Pour it into a glass. Let it all come together. Just my 2 cents. Says here not recommended for extended cellars unless ABV extends average range. Well, at 12% and being bourbon barrel aged, I think that exceeds the average range. And being a red ale, unless it's a hop forward red ale, you should be able to cellar this beer. So I can't think of one reason why you could not cellar a 12% Imperial red ale aged in bourbon barrels. It's my 2 cents again there. 2 cents. I'll keep adding all these 2 cents up. I'll have $1 for too long. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about, so let's pop a cap on this dude. Or dudette. I think Rexx is a dude. Nice hiss. Very nice hiss. A little bit of smoke out of the top of the bottle. And with that hiss, I'd say it's fairly well carbonated, but it's not pouring a monster head. Let me pour it a little more aggressive there on the back end. A little less than a finger of head. It is a murky brown color, guys. I cannot see the light through the big part of the bulb on the glass here. There is a little light coming through on the skinnier part down here. There are a lot of tight little bubbles trimming up, reinforcing that little head that it did pour. I probably could have poured this down the center from the get-go, but I didn't want to have 4 fingers of head on the pour. You never know, especially when I get a big hiss when I pop the cap on it. So, looks pretty good. Looks really good. Nice red ale. A lot of the red ales have a rich red ruby color. This is more of the brown murky color. Like I said, I cannot see the light or the bulb through the big part of the glass. Let's get a nose on it. Wow. This does have some hoppiness to it though, guys. Maybe that's why they're saying that. But it has a very big, sweet back end on it. Caramel, toffee. I'm getting hints of the alcohol at 12%. Very sweet smell, almost like a barley wine. I am getting the bourbon. You can definitely tell it's aged in bourbon barrels. But the toffee and the caramel and the candied sugar are the biggest aromas I'm getting. So let's give it a taste. Cheers. That's very tasty. Very, very good. Very, very, very good. Slight hints of the booziness in it. It's not burning or anything like that down my throat, but you can tell you're drinking a bigger beer. If you're drinking this out in a bar or a pub, be very careful. 12%. 1 or 2 of these could get you in trouble if the long arm of the law shines that flashlight in your eyes at a road check or whatever. Very tasty. Nice bitterness on the back end. Well, it's right out of the fridge, 40 degrees. I got a feeling as it warms up to room temperature, it's just going to get a little more complex and a little more tastier. Might be able to bring out some other aspects or notes that I'm getting once it warms up. So, very tasty though. Very pleasing. Very nice after dinner drink or a drink to have with your strong dinner dish. Yeah, very tasty. So let's let it warm up. Pour her a glass and sip on this and might fire up a stogie and sip on it for about 35-40 minutes or so, and come back and see where it ends up. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Been sipping on it about 35-45 minutes, something like that. Very tasty beer. A little bit boozy for a 12%er, but you got to expect that drinking a very big beer like this one is. But I was expecting a little more flavors once it warmed up, and I'm not getting a whole lot more. I'm getting the toffee and the caramel and the candied sugar, and a nice maltiness to the back end. I mean, on the beer, and a little bit of hoppiness to match up with the maltiness. But it's, to me, it's just not quite to the A category, and I was expecting just a little more from this beer. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad beer by any means, but I just don't think it's quite to the A category on this one. And when I come back, I did search this bottle very carefully and very hard, and I finally found it. The date is written very light here. There is actually, it's almost impossible to see this date with the beer in the bottle. I mean, it is so very faint on this bottle. And this one says bottled on 07. It's actually hard to read without the beer in there. 07, looks like 2015. Virtually impossible to see with the beer in the bottle. I mean, especially if it's been chilled, you cannot see that. And even without the beer in the bottle, it is almost impossible to see unless you know exactly where to look on this. These guys are big enough they can print this shit on the label, and that's another reason why I'm probably going to cut them a grade. Even though it's on there, it is so light and so faint, you can hardly see it. And with the beer in it, you cannot see it. You cannot see that date on the bottle with the beer in the bottle. So, Clown Shoes, love you guys to death, but you need to step up to the plate and start dating the labels instead of printing this faint-ass bottled on date on there where you cannot even see it with the beer in the bottle. The ink needs to be brighter, brighter yellow or brighter white, so you can see this without having to get a magnifying glass or pour the beer out of the bottle just to find it. I mean, come on guys, come on. Alright, let's do the final chug on this one. Very nice. I love the bourbon barrel aspect of this beer. I'm a big fan of that. And the bourbon is there. And this is being done in 07. And here we're at the end of 08. So it's only been in the bottle about a month. So don't think it's lost any of its characteristics. It is what it is. I was expecting just a tad more, like I said, from this beer. Don't think it's quite to the A category, guys. And that's the way I'm going to grade it. They did put a date on this one, and like I said, the other bottle that I did may have had a date on it, but it was just so faint that I couldn't find it. And we shouldn't have that problem. We really shouldn't have that problem. The ink needs to be a little brighter, either in a lighter or a brighter yellow or a brighter white, or better yet, print it on the damn label. That way you can see it with the beer in the bottle. So, for me, the guys, this is a 7. This is a B+. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, it would probably be an 88 or an 89, somewhere in that area. So, over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says it's an 88. Very good. I agree. It is a very good beer. I was expecting just a little more from these guys. Very nice, very tasty, definitely above average, very well made. The booziness is there, though, for 12%. Over to Rate Beer. And they say it's overall 89 and 60 in the style. 88, 89, 88 or 89 for me. We're all in agreement here. This is a very good beer. but it is not quite to the A category in my opinion. Even though it's aged in bourbon barrels, which I love, I really do. It's not quite as complex and not quite got the flavors that justify what you're going to end up having to pay for this beer. Even though when they barrel age, bourbon barrel age these beers, it costs a lot more money or more money than just a typical one that comes out of the fermenter and they bottle it and all that. Once it goes into the bourbon barrels, it sits and takes up space, as well as you know this. Those beers are usually a little more pricier than your standard beers, and justifiably so, because it takes up that space and it sits for however long they decide to barrel age it. From a couple of months to up to a year usually, depending on what the brewer is trying to achieve there, and when he thinks, because they sample it quite often, and when it gets to where he thinks it's ready to go, they bottle it. So a little underwhelmed by this, but by no means a bad beer. Definitely to the upper scale, kicking on the door on a A beer. So B plus for me. B plus around from everybody, Rate Beer and Beer Advocate also. So we're all in agreement it's a B plus beer, kicking on the door to be an A beer. So I just wish they would do something a little different on the dating, a little brighter ink, or put it on the label. So if you've had this one from Clown Shoes, this is their Rexx, which is an Imperial Red Ale aged in bourbon barrels. Very tasty. I enjoyed it. It was very nice. Not quite to the A category though. So damn so close. Missed it by this much. Alright guys, if you've had it, let me know what you think. And come on back tomorrow. Let's see what we can dig out of the fridge. See you then.